with the beautiful Eva Poci. She's a personal trainer, and today we're going to talk about the benefits of group personal training as well as some advice on how to keep motivated and stay fit. Welcome, Eva.
Thank you, Briony.
Now tell me, what are the benefits of seeing a personal trainer?
Briony, I think the obvious first benefit is having that booking in. It's something you know is coming up. I know a lot of people in their mind will have, I'm going to go to the gym, but something might come up. So when you have an appointment booked in, it generally gets people get in there, one. And then after the initial sort of week or two, people generally build a rapport with their personal trainer and don't want to let them down. So I think that's a really important part of it. Obviously finding the right personal trainer for you. But yeah, you just don't want to let them down. And
that's true. And there's a reason to get up out of bed and go, isn't there?
Exactly right. You just do it and you're like, oh, it's sort of like letting a friend down. So you're unlikely to do that. So that's the main benefit.
I suppose it's easier to let yourself down and think, oh, it's cold outside, I'm not going to go out and exercise.
Right, especially through winter.
So you specifically do, group training. What's the difference between doing, say, group training, personal training, and doing solo? Is there any benefit?
I think I've played a lot of different sports. I've done solo sort of sports and team sports, and I've always found, I guess, the pressure of your expectations in a one-on-one thing, sometimes it can be a little bit negative, your experience. It can bring yourself down, that sort of thing. Whereas when you've got friends around you or people around you, you generally have a good time. And if you are a bit down, someone will lift you up, So I think that's the biggest benefit. You form friendships. It's definitely less intimidating for somebody to start with a personal trainer one-on-one, I think, as in coming into a group situation, because there's so many different fitness levels. So you're less likely to compare yourself to the person. You don't sort of look over your shoulder. You just kind of all do it together and laugh. Some people can do some things really well. Some people can't do some things really well. And no one cares. I think the biggest positive, though I haven't mentioned, is the financial side. There's so many costs these days, and health and wellness industry is booming. I believe that there's a certain amount of people budget week to week for their training or something like that. And some people do see it as an extra expense. So if you can get 2 or 3 sessions in with 2 or 3 friends or, new people, then cost of one personal training session, I just think that's the smart way to do it.
Yeah, that's true. It can add up when you're seeing a personal trainer. I know that from personal experience. So what is the biggest factor, besides expense, obviously, that keeps people from reaching their goals with fitness?
I think that is definitely falls back into your old habits. So whether it's with your diet or with your exercise, you generally just go along the way you are. And to change those habits, you need to be organised. So you need to, with your food, for example, you'd go and buy what you're going to eat the next day or two, and that's going to keep you eating the right foods. It's the same thing with your training. You need to be organised. You need to know what's happening the 2 days ahead, have sessions booked in, or have walks planned, or have things planned, because otherwise the days just go by and something might pop up. So I think people just fall back into old habits.
I think that's a good point. If you have everything scheduled in and you think, okay, this is my exercise time and I have to do it for whatever reason,
exactly
you just do it.
You just do it. You don't even think about it. And it's like any appointment. You know that you're going to leave smiling. So even if you get there after a long day of work and you're a bit, you never leave a session feeling bad about yourself.
No,
so it's just
I think that I don't think anyone ever regrets going, and exercising, do they?
It's exactly right.
And what kind of tips can you give people to keep motivated to stay in shape?
I think it goes back to the way you feel. I mean, there's a subconscious and conscious mind. So the way you feel about something, the way you know, think of when you leave the gym, how you feel. You feel good about yourself. You're more likely to make good food choices, be a good role model for your child, or, be a nicer partner. I know that when I don't exercise, after a few days, you start to get a little bit frustrated, a little bit something. Like, it's just nice to wake up and go and do your yoga or do your walk or do whatever, and you're just generally a nicer person, I think, to be around. And I think that it's really important to just...
I completely agree with you. And you brought up, being good to your child. And I know you've got a little one,
yes,
and it's not always easy when you've got a child to stay fit.
Yeah.
And so do you have any, I'm always asking other mothers, do you have any tips for other mothers? Because obviously it's so much more tricky to stay on top of things after you've had a pregnancy and then you've got to run after a child.
Yeah.
What tips have you got for staying in shape once you're a mother?
Yeah, I think obviously a time thing. If you are in a situation where you have a supportive partner, or if you have a fantastic mother or mother-in-law, it's good to get up early in the mornings and do your session before they get up. That's the time that you or your partner has to get what you want to do in. So it's really important to look at that and just get up a little bit earlier. But the other thing, it's a little bit daggy, but I know I don't love children's parks personally, but I'm there a lot at the park with my little one, and I know that there's benches there, and I know that there's things I can get involved with there. So rather than sitting down having a coffee with my friends, I might organise a walk with them or meet them at the park or do like a little circuit there whilst obviously watching the kids. But the kids love it too. They join in. They love seeing their mum or their dad active and happy and smiling. So there's always something you can do.
Yeah, no, I agree with that because, I mean, they would love to get involved, and then you're being a really good role model to your children, aren't you?
Definitely right. Yeah, it's really important.
No, I think there's some really great tips that you've got for us to help keep in shape. And,
fantastic.
You know, you are right. It is, you know, motivation, and you do feel so much better when you do exercise. So any little tips that we can have that will get us out of bed on these cold days is much appreciated.
Exactly right.
If anyone wants to find you to do group personal training, where can they look?
Yes, I'm at Move It PT in Sandringham at the moment, or you can find me on Instagram, Eva Poci, which is Poch, and my phone number's on there.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for coming in,
Thanks for your time, Briony.
Eva.